We are in 2017 and Depeche Mode are not a band trying to survive. They're not chasing relevance, they're not asking for permission. By this point of their career, Depeche Mode are a certainty. More than 35 years together, 14 studio albums already released, a global audience that spans generations, countries, ideologies. They're not just a band anymore, they're a language, a reference point. When Spirit comes out, Depeche Mode are already part of musical history. They helped shape electronic music. They crossed the 80s, survived the 90s, adapted to the early zeros. They endured internal fractures, addiction, near collapse, and came back. So Spirit is not born out of necessity. It is not a comeback record. It is not an album made to remind us who they are. Spirit exists because the Depeche Mode still feel the need to speak. This is Behind the Record. Today we talk about Spirit. Let's go. The band at this point in time. At this stage, the Depeche Mode are an established entity, but also a fragile one. And the Fletcher is still there, the silent pillar. Martingo remains the emotional architect, the observer. Dave Gahan is no longer just a frontman, he is a survivor, a narrator, a presence. Their previous album already showed maturity, reflection, restraint, but Spirit goes somewhere else. It does not look inward first, it looks outward. And that choice matters. Because when the band with nothing left to prove decides to look at the world and say something uncomfortable, that is never accidental. The word outside, why Spirit exists. Spirit is born in a tense world, a world defined by division, by fear, by noise, political polarization, manipulation of information, a sense that power has become abstract, distant, unaccountable. But Spirit is not a protest album in classic sense. It does not raise fists, it does not shout slogans. Instead, it observes. Calmly, almost clinically. Depeche Mode have said that Spirit is one of their most political records, but not because it supports a side, but because it questions the system itself. This album is not interested in solutions, it is interested in consequences. It asks, what happens to people when truth becomes flexible? What happens when fear becomes a tool? What happens when language is emptied of meaning? Spirit does not offer comfort, it offers awareness. The intention, what the band said about the album. From the beginning, the band was clear. They did not want to make a polite record. They did not want elegance. They did not want nostalgia. They wanted tension. They worked with producer James Ford, known for his sharp, modern approach, but also for understanding atmospheres over perfection. The goal was not beauty, the goal was friction. Martin Gore's lyrics are direct, sometimes almost blunt. Dave Gahan's voice is restrained, weary, controlled. The voice is the voice of someone who has seen enough to stop screaming. This is not youthful anger, this is adult disillusionment. The band described Spirit as an album driven by feeling rather than concept, a reaction of the world rather than the planned manifesto. And that honestly is audible. The sound deliberate choice. Spirit sounds dry, compressed, sharp. The beats are rigid, the synths feel stripped, almost chaotical. There is very little warmth. This is intentional. The album often feels claustrophobic, boxed in, restless, like a system with no exits. Silences are used as attention. Repetition becomes oppressive. This is not music designed to seduce, to be honest. It is music designed to unsettle. And in that sense, it aligns perfectly with the message. K themes, not track by track, but idea by idea. Spirit resolves around a few central obsessions: control, language, faith. No religious faith, but trust in systems, in people, in truth. Songs like Where's the Revolution don't ask for rebellion, they ask why rebellion never comes. Going backwards speaks about regression disguised as a progress, about history repeating itself while pretending to move forward. Cover Me shifts perspective, becoming almost cosmic, distant, a reminder of human fragility in much larger context. But what matters is not the individual tracks. It is the emotional continuity. Spirit is built as a single statement, a sustained mood. You don't enter this album for one song, you enter it for to stay. Why Spirit matters? In the Depeche Mode discography. This is the crucial point. Spirit is not their most iconic album, it is not their most beloved, it is not their most accessible, and yet it is one of their most important because it proves something essential. It proves that the Depeche Mode are not a legacy act. They're not content with repeating a formula. They're not interested in being safe. It is incredibly easy for a band with this history to become self-referential, to polish the past, to toward memories. Spirit refuses that comfort. It insists of being contemporary. Even if that makes uncomfortable to listen to, that courage matters more than perfection. The physical experience. Spirit exists physically. Two vinyl records, weight, time. This is not an album made for passive consumption. It demands presence. Flipping the record forces pauses, because listening to Spirit on vinyl turns the album into an experience rather than a playlist. You don't skip easily. You don't jump around. You commit. And Spirit rewards that commitment by revealing its coherence. Listening to Spirit today, years after its release, Spirit has not aged poorly. If anything, it feels disturbingly accurate. The tension it captures has not disappeared. The questions it raises remain answered. This is not a timeless album in romantic sense. It is anchored on its era. But anchoring gives it weight. It documents a moment, a feeling, a fracture. As a final thought, Spirit is not here to please you. It does not ask for affection, it does not ask for approval. It stands quietly, firmly. It says, this is the world we are living here. This is how it feels now. Listen. And maybe that is the most Depeche Mode thing of all. Because after decades, after success, after survival, they are still willing to be uncomfortable, still willing to observe, still willing to speak, and sometimes that is more powerful than trying to be loved. This was Behind the Records, and my name is Daniele Ippolito. Ciao.